Jan, please tell me a little about yourself for our viewers. Where do you live and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Germany, from Hamburg in the north, but I live already for 15 years almost outside of Germany. So first I moved to Maastricht in the Netherlands. It's a beautiful city in the Netherlands. That's where I started to photograph, actually. And from there on, I live now for almost 11, 12 years in Brussels. So close to Brussels in Belgium. And the reason is because I work for a European organization. And that's why I'm working here now. Photography is a passion, but it's not my job. So I really do it just for the fun and for the beauty of it. But it's not my job. I have a normal full-time job.
Oh, okay. Tell me, please, where and how did you study photography?
So I didn't study photography. I really just took a camera and started taking pictures. It was when I moved to Maastricht in the Netherlands. I don't know, maybe you move to a new city, you don't know anybody. And then during the week, you work and you have your colleagues, it's okay. But on the weekend, it gets terrible boring. And that's when I started, let's try photography. And I got a camera, a digital camera, a Nikon 70S. And I just walked around the city and took pictures. And very quickly, I noticed that that's a lot of fun. I really like that. So I did that, and I started uploading my pictures, on the internet, and you get feedback from others. And I got lots of positive feedback, and that motivated me even more. But after some time, after, I don't know, a few months, I was getting a bit bored with houses and streets and rivers. And I was always, I wanted to try, to take portraits. And so then I started to look for people I could take portraits of. And I started it. And then I was fascinated. And then I really started, every minute of free time I had, I was taking portraits. And that's how it started. And from then it's just, learning by doing, reading a lot on the internet. Nowadays you have lots of YouTube videos. So you can basically learn it all, just by studying it yourself. That's how I did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but why do you shoot on film anyway in the age of digital cameras now?
That's a good question. When I was already shooting digital maybe for 2 years or so. And then for some reason, I saw in a photo magazine a beautiful old film camera. And I was like, this camera is so beautiful. Why are digital cameras, why are they so ugly? They're just black boxes. They don't have any, I don't know, they're not beautiful. And I saw this old, beautiful camera in the magazine. And then I thought, maybe I can check on eBay. Maybe I can buy one and just try. So I bought 100 euros or something, a Nikon with a lens. And I got some black and white film. And then I had a digital shoot with a model in a location and makeup and everything. And then I was shooting digital. But during the shoot, I was shooting one roll of film just to try, to see. And when I had the results back, I was like, oh my God, this is so much more beautiful than the digital images I took. And then it started from there. And then I was saving money to get a professional digital camera. It was a Nikon D3, was back then the one that was the one that I was interested in. So I was already saving money, but I took that money then and bought a Hasselblad and a Leica from that because I was so fascinated by the film look that I started shooting film. And then I was shooting in parallel. I was shooting film and digital sort of, half-half. But very quickly, I didn't even look at the digital images anymore. I just took the film images, developed the film, and the digital images were like a backup. And at some point, I just stopped. And then it was 100% film. You needed to get a little bit confidence that, when you see something and okay, I cannot see on the back of the camera what I get. But once you develop this confidence that sort of what you're doing, then I sold my digital camera, and since then I'm 100% shooting film. And the reasons are, first, the cameras are beautiful. They're really beautiful to use. To just look through. If you haven't looked through a film camera, as a digital photographer, look through a film camera. It's so beautiful. It's so bright and large screen, and you can really see what's going on. It's so much more beautiful. Even now, when I look through a modern digital camera and then look through a film camera again, there's no comparison. It's completely different. And then, they're beautiful to use. They're fun to use. I love the look of film. I love that film makes me more, I have to think more. I have to, be a bit more conscious about what I'm doing. I cannot just click, click, click. I have to, think more about the image. And I learned a lot by that. And I think my images also improved just by having to think more. So, lots of reasons. But, I'm 100% film. Mm-hmm. I try digital once in a while again, but it doesn't work for me. So it's I just love film.
Do you develop by yourself or in a lab?
I develop black and white by myself. I also developed color by myself. But if you know how it works, it's a bit more complicated.
Yes.
You have to keep very strict temperatures. You have to warm everything up. The chemistry is a bit more aggressive than black and white chemistry. And so now I send my color images to a lab. Mm-hmm. And they develop the lab and they scan them and then they send me the scans. But black and white, I do everything myself.
Oh, great. Yeah, you travel a lot around the world. You do various seminars and workshops. Is there a future for the film, in your opinion? And what is it? I mean, in commercial photography, of course.
Yes. I think film has still a lot of... for amateurs and enthusiasts anyway, because you don't have timelines, your budget is basically what you want to spend on it. But I also see lots of professional photographers still using film. And always in that instances when timelines or quick deliveries don't matter. So if you have people who are doing documentary, who travel somewhere and then over a course of a time take pictures of the people and the places, and I know lots of professional photographers who use film for that. Then the next day they might have to go for a newspaper assignment to take some portraits that have to be ready within a few hours. Then they take the digital camera. But then again, if they work on their project, on their long-term project for a book or something, then often they take their film cameras. So I think there is a room for both. Digital for fast deliveries, and film when you have a bit more time to. But yeah, I'm quite surprised that film still plays such a big role. Whenever I'm looking for new photographers, or I'm looking online, or your Instagram, Facebook, you see new images, and very often when I like images and I look up who's the photographer, very often then he shoots film, even though he might be professional. So I think there's still a role for film, because it has digital in terms of economy and quick and fastness, and you cannot beat it. But when it comes to the beauty, the texture, the colors, I think film has just still something special that you cannot imitate with digital.
Yeah, tell me please a little bit more about your cameras. Are there many of them in your arsenal, and what kind of cameras are they?
Yes, I have quite a lot of cameras. So I started out with 35 millimeter, which is where probably most people start out. You can get 36 pictures on a film. It's quite small. It's almost like digital, just that you have a film in the back. So you can take pretty quick pictures. You can have autofocus with the cameras if you want, and so it's the smallest step from digital to film is probably 35 millimeter. Then I already said I bought a Hasselblad 501 cm, which is the classical. You look through the top of the camera and square format, and there you notice already suddenly it gets much slower. Because everything's upside down in the viewfinder. You have to look more carefully with the composition. The square is a bit different to compose than the rectangle that we're used to. So then medium format, I tried all different formats. So what I do now is basically I like 35 millimeter if I have to be fast. So for the kids, for example, I love 35 millimeter because you can go very fast. You can take few more pictures. And then when it comes to portraits or landscapes, I prefer medium format. Cameras, medium format, I think, I have the Hasselblad. I have a Rolleiflex. It's also a square. Those are probably the most beautiful cameras. Then I have a few 6x7 cameras, a little bit bigger. So the Mamiya RZ67 is a quite famous camera. It's a beautiful camera for everything, for portraits or landscape. And then I have a 645. It's a bit smaller. You can take a bit more pictures with it. And that's the one I like to take on vacation, for example, because it's a good mix between 35 millimeter and medium format. You can be quite fast, you can shoot a bit more images, but you get the beautiful tonality and colors you get of medium format. At some point, I was also interested in shooting large format. Mm-hmm. So I also have a few large format cameras. Mm-hmm. So I have one 8x10, which are the really big ones. So I have one of those in old Deerdorf. And I have two 4x5s, which they're nice for portraits, or if you really want to, spend a lot of time with an image, think about an image, recompose often, because when you go with a 4x5 camera, maybe you have 10 images, maybe you have 15 images. So every picture you take, you really think about it. And very often I compose an image and spend maybe 5-10 minutes trying if I can make an image. But if in the end I'm not happy, I don't take a picture. I just close the camera again, go somewhere else, try something new. So it's a very slow process, but you learn a lot because you really, before you click the shutter and use the film, you really make sure that what you see is really what you like. It's a good process.
Yes, sure. Yeah, you shoot a lot of people, and they always look very natural and honest. How do you do it?
That's I don't know. It's not an easy question. I mean, I get that asked quite a lot, also when we do workshops. And if I would have a recipe, I don't mind sharing it. But I think it's many little things. It's one important thing, I think, is to be very nice, to be very polite, to be to make the person feel there's no threat, there's no conflict, it's really just we're here, it's beautiful, we take beautiful pictures. That's really important, I think, for the other person to see. Okay, this is going to be nice. You have to build confidence. They have to the model, the one you take pictures of, sort of has to believe. I trust this guy. I think he will make a beautiful picture of me. And I think then you have somebody who's relaxed, who's also willing to maybe open up a little bit. Of course, that doesn't work always. You meet a person and maybe you don't like that person, and then there's immediately maybe like a tension or something. But you can use that as well. Then you make maybe a picture where it's not a relaxed atmosphere, but maybe you see some tension or some which can be interesting as well. But what I try is really to be very nice, very polite, very gentle. Make the people believe, everything's under control, everything's nice, everything's fine. And then I think it also helps using these old cameras, because that immediately raises an interest in the model or the person you're in. They immediately, oh, that's a beautiful camera. Oh, how does it work? And then, just the click of the shutter. It's not like, digital. It's like, something, oh, that was beautiful. And so I often got people laughing when they hear the first time the shutter of the camera. And immediately you have sort of like something that loosens up the atmosphere. And I think every photographer knows it. You try to take a picture of a person, and very often, it looks stiff. The person doesn't look relaxed. And everybody has that. Some people are easier to photograph, other people are more difficult to photograph. And then it's just like I'm trying different things. I'm trying different poses. I'm trying different, maybe I don't make a stupid joke or to try to find when this person, looses up, when the person starts to relax. And with most people, at some point you find something where then now, from this angle, with this, now it looks better. And with most people, you at some point find an angle or a position or that often you talk to the person while you take photos, and then you notice while you talk, they start to forget that we're taking pictures, and then suddenly you see a natural expression. It works with one person, it doesn't work with the next. So it's always something you have to try, and then sometimes it doesn't work. Also for me, then okay, I didn't really get the expression that I was looking for, but you try, you keep on trying, and then maybe you're lucky, and hopefully you get something. But it's basically that. It's trying and not giving up and trying different things.
Nice, thank you. Jan, please describe your concept of the perfect shot. Is it a clearly calculated formula for you, or do you shoot intuitively?
I think for me it's more like a spontaneous thing. I might have like a scene in mind where I think, I want it to be composed like this. I want to be the background, the clothes, or I have maybe something that I go to a shoot with. And maybe that's also how we start, where we say, okay, let's try this. But then often I notice something like, wow, this is much more beautiful. And then I go for this. So often, yes, I have a concept in mind. But if I see that something works better or is more beautiful, I immediately go for this. That's again the advantage if you're like you're not a professional. You don't have to deliver something to a client. You can, if the client wants the house in the background and the person in the front, that's what you have to deliver. But if that doesn't work and I can do something completely different, then I can just do this. And I also think, if you have the perfect shot, perfect light, perfect background, perfect exposure, but the expression of the person is boring, the shot is nothing. And you can have a very boring shot, composition is zero, background is boring, but you have a nice expression from the person, the picture will probably work. So for me, it's always expression of the person is the highest priority, and the rest, as if it works, fine, maybe it doesn't work, but the expression of the person for me is always the most important.
Thank you. And the last question for you, Jan. What advice would you give to young photographers as a parting word to the world of professional photography?
It's difficult. I think I never tried to earn money with photography, so I don't know how difficult the business is. But I think it's probably... it's difficult. I think, you just have to you have to do what really fascinates you. You have to really, because if you just try to shoot what everybody else shoots, and, you will be just one out of 1,000 photographers. You have to follow your vision, your instinct, even if, at the beginning, maybe it doesn't sell. Maybe, nobody likes it, or nobody wants to buy it or hire you for. But if you're consistent and you make beautiful work, that's unique. That's uniquely your work. I think then maybe at some point you will be successful, and people will come to your workshops, or they buy your art prints and so forth. When I started out, I had no idea what I wanted to do with it. It was beautiful. I loved doing it, and I loved taking pictures that I found beautiful. And then just by, you upload them and you get some feedback and you get some comments. And just by continuously taking the pictures that I love, that I find beautiful, then it started to be that, people ask me, can I buy a print? Or when do you give a workshop? Just by being yourself, by taking the pictures that you love, that are sort of your vision of this world. And then if you're lucky, maybe you can, sell that at some point and make a job out of it. But I think it's not easy nowadays, especially with film. I think it's probably difficult to really make a living. I think what many people do, they have maybe a normal job, and then they can earn some extra money with, selling prints, doing workshops. That's sort of a little bit what I am doing. If you really want to make money with it, I don't know. I see that the wedding industry is still something, I think, where you can, if you're a good photographer, if you have a good vision, I think in that you can still earn some money, even with film. I mean, there are some film photographers which are successful wedding photographers. Quite a lot, actually. Otherwise, I have to say I'm not really an expert on the photography market. I don't know what is really, what you get paid for. I know, what you can do with selling prints and doing workshops, which is quite nice, but I don't think I could live just from that at the moment. So I think it's a difficult market. It may be different in the Ukraine than it is here. I don't know. But for me, it's just photography is just a beautiful thing to do. And if you're good at it, and if you really have a unique vision that speaks to other people, I think then you can also make money with it.